Is Age of Calamity worth playing in 2025? I'm on my journey to finish every single Switch Zelda game on my newly purchased Switch 2. After completing the game, I would definitely say yes, Age of Calamity is a fun game to play. And it will probably be my favorite Zelda game I played this year, and yes, this is above Skyward Sword and Link's Awakening. So how did this side piece game get so many things right? I know this game is like a Dynasty Warrior game, and I only played like one of them back in the day, like PS2 days, but Age of Calamity felt nothing like that. This still feels like a Zelda game through and through. It's like a Zelda game first and a Dynasty Warriors game second. Link and friends get to use all the typical ability that Breath of the Wild has, for example like bombs, magnesis, ice, time clock. You also get to use moves like Flurry Rush, but okay, on the side note, I always thought that Flurry Rush is like a Link exclusive ability for some reason. Like somehow they have, like he has some sort of time manipulation ability, but that is just another of my theories shattered, I guess. But anyways, on top of that, on top of all the traditional skill that you get from Breath of the Wild, you also get real combat. I know, Age of Calamity combat is actually engaging. It makes me wonder why they couldn't implement some of the combat system into the main game. This might be just me, but can you imagine a Zelda game that has the same combat mechanics as Age of Calamity, but also with the puzzle and dungeon of a normal Zelda game? That would be insane. Imagine if you have this arsenal of combat mechanics in Tears of the Kingdom against Ganondorf. The Ganondorf fight is already incredible, okay? But they would have made him so much more difficult if our main character has some real combat mechanics. Think about it, makes me excited. Okay, enough of my daydreaming. This game, Age of Calamity, also provides a huge selection of heroes to play, all with unique moveset, which makes this game incredibly replayable. I end up using only Link, Zelda, Taiba, and Impa as my main character, as they're the most fun to play for me. It felt so good when you switch around the characters and just start crushing enemy with a new set of moveset. Like the mastery really feels good. And the story of this game, although not that deep, is miles and miles ahead of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It felt like they actually put the story in high importance when they created this game. Unlike the other Wild titles, they kind of feel like they made the gameplay first and then slap on the story afterwards. All the main story quests in this game comes with a cool cinematic. Although they're not super deep, like I said, you really get to experience the war firsthand, and you get to see the scale of the war as well, which is incredible. Of course, this game is not all sunshine and rainbow. It's not a 10 out of 10 game. The performance of this game, although at a steady 30 FPS, but to be honest, I was expecting them to unlock 60 FPS for all the Switch 2 players. Is that too much to ask to be allowed to play some older title game on a higher FPS? I was not expecting a higher resolution texture pack. I know Nintendo tend to make that cost money, but I already spent like $800 on a new console, right? Can we not have 60 FPS in 2025? I heard this game runs really badly on Switch 1 and it's already a huge upgrade, but as a new player who never played the Switch 1 version of the game, this is very disappointing. Although eventually my eyes do get used to the 30 FPS, but it really feels like I'm still playing this game on Switch 1. And the game looks like it is on Switch 1 as well, right? And it looks like it's getting bottlenecked by the hardware, but no, it's just bottlenecked by the software at this point. Secondly, although it's kind of fun to go back to Breath of the Wild world and fight all sort of enemies in Hyrule again, the enemy does feel a little bit repetitive and there isn't much of a new enemy in this game. It really does feel like this is like an asset reuse game in terms of art. Even most of the moves that the enemy uses are the same ones that they use in Breath of the Wild. As an individual game, which this is selling at a full price. I'm expecting some new enemy types and some new moves from the enemy. But right now, to what I understand, there's only like 2-3 new bosses that has that, and the rest are just basically copy pasted. Thirdly, this is just personal preference. I really do not like some of the quests that are like character locked. I find some of the character are just straight up not enjoyable to play. Like Riju, in order to like 100% of the game, I'm forced to play her, and her moves are just hard to control and barely do any damage. I don't want to waste my resource on upgrading her, but that makes the level that I'm forced to play her much more difficult. I wish everything is just more open. You get to play whoever you want instead of forcing me to play the character I don't like. Lastly, the story. This is not really game related, but it does kind of suck that this game cannot be canon, since if it is, that means that Breath of the Wild would have never happened, but Tears of the Kingdom will still happen since that's Ganondorf, not Calamity Ganon. But the problem is that if Breath of the Wild never happens, both Zelda and Link, at least this iteration of them, will have died, since the only reason why they live so long is for Link is like he is in a resurrection shrine the whole time, and for the Zelda, she was sealed with Calamity Ganon in another dimension, I guess. But in Age of Calamity, like we defeated Calamity Ganon 100 years ago, so basically all our hero will have died to old age when Tears of the Kingdom happens, and Ganondorf will just wake up to a free win, basically. Link would never be able to fight Ganondorf, and Zelda will have never go back in time. So I assume if we want to make Age of Calamity into canon, it would just be creating another timeline in which Ganondorf would have won at the end. But that is just my theory, a game theory. At the end of the day, I do think Age of Calamity is definitely worth playing in 2025 if you have a Switch 2. Especially if you can get it secondhand. Although it still looks like a Switch 1 game, the stable 30 FPS does make it very playable. The combat is fun, the story is engaging, but what this game ultimately did is that it makes me so excited to play Age of Imprisonment. I love the more straightforward story-driven method that these Hyrule game has. And since this time, fingers crossed, Age of Imprisonment is actually canon, I love to see which direction the story leads. And since Age of Imprisonment is made for Switch 2 only, I'm excited to see Hyrule again with a brand new high-res texture and 60 FPS. And that's it. Like and subscribe for more.